Hi Leo, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here to do your March 2020 extended monthly forecast. So this is for Leo Sun, Leo Moon, and Leo Rising signs. And you do have bi-weeklies, so I hope you're enjoying your bi-weeklies. This is going to be a little bit more in depth. We're going to use 2 decks of tarot cards and perform a Celtic cross spread for you. So we're going to look at some pretty in-depth information here and some details for the month ahead. In addition to that, we'll be getting a card from each of the 4 oracle decks as well for you for additional messages. So Leo, what's ahead for you for March 2020? Messages for Leo. Leo Sun, Leo Moon, Leo Rising for March 2020. Messages for Leo Sun, Moon, Rising, March 2020. All right, friends, let's get this deck split in 3. Get your first layer laid down, and then I'm going to lay the other on top. Starting out super nice here with the Wheel of Fortune, major beginnings and endings, it looks like. Could be with regard to a relationship or a message of love. Wow. So lots of, generally speaking, we have some finalizations here. We have a lot of strong sparkling energy. Little bit of a letdown. Looks like you could be not entirely fulfilled here, or at least have a fear around fulfillment. And then the 4 of Wands, so something having to do with the home is implicated here, or this is where it's designed around. So again, I want to remind everyone that this is a general reading, right? So these are just general messages. I encourage you to apply these terms and messages to anything that you're currently going through or an issue that's important to you at the time of the viewing. So, oops, let's get out our second layer. And you can always hire me for a personal reading. If you have a very specific question, it doesn't really matter what it's about, you can always contact me. Details are in the description box below as always. But for general purposes, this should be helpful nonetheless. If this doesn't resonate for any reason, check out your Moon and Rising signs. If you're a Leo Sun, for example, and you have Scorpio Moon, check out Scorpio. That type of thing, that could help as well. I find sometimes looking at my moon sign readings to be a little bit more, at least in terms of my emotional world, right? And then when it comes to, if this is your Leo Sun, this will really help with how you're propelling yourself forward, because there's so many areas of life. Your emotional world, your professional world, etc. All right, so let's qualify this Celtic cross. Get our second layer here. We have the Wheel of Fortune twice. We have a lot of major arcanas. I would say that this is something significant to you in the month of March here, folks. Something that was previously kept under wraps or that you want to stay hidden could be coming to the fore. You may be distrustful of the truth, or people who are involved with the law or policy making. Let's get into it one by one here. I'm just sort of eyeballing everything together, but we will look at these one by one. You do have a couple of wands. So both the King and the 7 here. You've got a page down here, and this is, our spirit. This is our motivation. This is will to power. It could be career as well, and it could, if this is a love reading for you, of course, it could be passion and relationships. But these 2 are of the same element, right? So 4 and the Page of Wands. So there could be a younger member of the family that is quite exciting, or someone who's quite spirited here, or someone definitely has a message. Someone is bringing in a call to action here around the home. But specifically speaking, a younger person within the home or about a home or family situation here. All right, so the first layer representing both you and why you are in this position. So the position representing you is the Wheel of Fortune. Like I said, we do see this twice here. And of course, this means major endings and beginnings. We do have another 10 here, which is nice to get out of the way. We do have Judgment sitting on top of that. So yeah, I think major overhauls are going to be taking place here in the month of March for you. Oops, sorry guys. Something having to do with the message of love, the way that you communicate, the way that other people communicate with you regarding a loving situation. Something could be turning, however. So if things were really sweet, for example, or you were really generous and intuitive and say maybe sensitive, possibly even insecure here, that could be changing for you. On the other hand, if you were very bold and outgoing, that could switch up for you and you could become more sensitive. So definitely something around sensitivity. It could even have to do with developing or fine-tuning your intuition at this time as well. And I'll talk about that, why I'm saying that in just one moment. So the cards on top of that are qualifying that as the Emperor and the Two of Swords, right? So we're looking at the Emperor and over the card, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Two of Swords over the Knight of Cups, right? So this is a message coming into you. Hopefully, someone's probably trying to change your mind here. Like I said, if someone on the outside isn't doing this to you, this is either you who has been, really bold, assertive, who's sort of getting a taste of what it's like to be a little bit more sensitive or receptive, or if you started out this way, you're being asked to be a little bit more bold and assertive. But I'm suggesting here that you already have that on lock because you're Leo, you're a sun, ruled by the sun, you're pretty outgoing anyway, so I think that sensitivity could be desired or required at this time. We do have, of course, the Aries ruled Emperor with the Two of Swords here as well. So not a major decision, but like a decision one way or the other. I'm going to suggest here about telling the truth about how you feel to an Aries person or about your first house energy, right? Which is why if this is a sun sign reading for you, Leo, this would be exactly how you're about to move ahead. You have to make a decision here with regard to the next phase of life. And you might be called to or might be propelled or even forced to have to make a decision to become more receptive, to become more gentle, sensitive, maybe even poetic. So what's crowning the situation? We know that this is, under the surface. This is going to affect the whole month, for example. So it will be affecting family or home environment. But here we have the World over the Seven of Pentacles, right? So this is what's crowning you. This is what could be working for you. Seven of Pentacles with the World is, a reassessment is needed. We are really seeing this here with the Two of Swords. You really are being asked to reassess something. You might have to go out on a limb here. You might have to have a lot of faith. Something that you were really invested in, something that you've put a lot of time, effort, even money. Like I said at the very beginning, if this is about a renovation, and it could be that simple for you, Leo, this is really about it changing your world. This is about you getting, the outcomes that you truly desire. And of course, we're looking at a 21. It's the very last card of the major arcana. So essentially, this is saying, next we have to level up here. We have to take a chance, we have to take a risk, we have to move forward. I do think that you're probably in a good mental, we do have some swords here, some very, cold, somewhat aggressive swords, but for the first 2 weeks here, it looks like you're feeling really confident about moving forward in a direction where you've built something to last here, or something's definitely paying dividends for you. Or at least what you see and what you feel is very, very pleasing right now. You're going to have gotten what you wanted, that was working for you. This is what's, behind the scenes, this would be beneath the surface. What could be working against you is the King of Wands, which of course is your rulership card, with the Fool. I'm going to suggest that this is taking for granted, fill in the blank, taking something for granted. I think that you expect people to be refined and come through for you, or people in your environment expect you to be refined and come through for them. And this could prove to be a little hasty. This could prove to be a little bit overkilly. We're going to see that in a second. Somebody could be using your heart or your best interests, or say their relationship with you, against you, or you could be doing this with someone else, even if you're not aware of it or you're not cognizant of it. Again, there could be a great deal of taking advantage of a situation here. Having so much faith in a sense of willpower or strength of character, or even control over yourself or over others. You definitely have at least one person in your corner, but that is involved with the refinery. That's involved with the comfort. We have some more difficult energies in the last 2 weeks of the month, which is interesting because Mercury goes direct. This will be direct by mid-month. So things may seem really tickety-boo right now for the first 2 weeks of the month. And then by the end of the month, it's like there could even be some developmental confusion around rights, around information, intellectualism, intelligence, electronics, truth-telling, court system, law, judges. We do have judgment, and then we've got these two really big judgy cards up here. So I would really avoid taking something for granted at this time. I don't really know what else to say about that. That's just kind of what's being screamed at me here. And it's funny because in pretty much any other situation, in any other position these two cards sat in, I would say this is a really lucky omen. And it could very well be. This could be a lucky omen, but it is in the sort of what's working against you, or what needs attention, right? So I would suggest, if you're taking for granted what people being in your corner, or something going super great, particularly with someone who's enjoying this prosperity with you, for example, someone who could be a Taurus or Virgo individual, or earth sign in general, right? We have Capricorn represented at the end here. I'd say an earth sign who could be typically on your side here. You might take for granted them being on your side, and not necessarily that they will leave, but that they're just as either confused or flighty or new to something as you are. So it could be like blind leading the blind, I guess, in a way. Here in your recent past is the Ten of Cups with the High Priestess. So there was a lot of secrecy around why you were so happy, or secrecy around, or an inability to share emotional wealth with others. See, the Ten of Cups is a real beautiful family card. This is having everything you've ever wanted. This is like emotional fulfillment paired with the High Priestess, right? And this is a lot of secrets. Of course, we know this is moon ruled. And this is the shadows, this is the dark. So something happening in the home or within a family situation where there's something's being shadowed, something could be being avoided. It's very, very powerful energy. There could be moon energy around this, where there could be some moodiness here. There could be some crankiness, but incredibly intuitive power is being held here. It's remarkable to me to see how much this may be, on the surface, it looks like everything's great, is how I'm going to frame this. But there's something going on behind the scenes that, as I said here with these two, it's like things look great, they even feel great, you look like you're getting what you're wanting here. It looks like everyone's benefiting. Someone's coming in with news, encouragement, a lot of passion here. So there's a lot of sort of moving parts. However, definitely by the third and fourth week here, somebody's not convinced, and we'll get into that. I know I keep saying that, sorry, but I keep looking ahead and I'm just so curious as to why this is going on here. So in your near future, we have Hermit with the King of Pentacles. So technically speaking, here's where we're seeing the Virgo and the Taurus individual. Of course, King of Pentacles technically rules Taurus, or second house. Hermit rules the sixth house. So, possessions, singing, throat, communication, seductive communication, comforts. This is a very luxurious energy matched with the Hermit, right? So sixth house, this is, generally speaking, balance. This is about getting rid of what you don't want in order to make room for the new. This is like the weeding card. This is we know that the avatar for Virgo is the Virgin. It's the woman in the fields, right, doing all of her gardening. So this is extremely knowledgeable. There's a bit of perfectionism here, but this is very hardworking energy. And this person is also really involved with health and concerns with the health and the health field, etc. So it could be a Virgo or Taurus who's involved with the health field. You could have Virgo and Taurus in your own chart, Leo, and you could be going through a health issue at this time, or graduating a program, and you could be becoming an expert in this field. And we do have this Cups energy looking at the Hermit and the Taurus. So this is where, you're communicating a lot of this, I'm in charge and this is how things are going to go. And I really see you getting a lot of support here, and you know how to talk and communicate with this person. I just don't know how deeply it's where it's coming from. It looked like without the Fool here, it looked like it could have been coming from a very deep place in your heart. But there's such a newness here. There's such a kind of, I don't know, I guess we'll go this way sort of energy. And again, on its own, that's great. But an I don't know where I'm going, and then this will to power. I think there could be, someone is being misled here, either cognizantly or maybe ignorantly. I don't know how aware you are of someone doing this in your vicinity, or you doing this in your vicinity, but nonetheless, a lot of earth energy here. So very down to earth in your near future, something very down to earth, something can be felt, something is very real. And you could be getting a financial kickback as well, right? This is such a luxurious, rich card, right? The King of Pentacles. It's very rich, it's very luxe. This is an individual who's going to have and very romantic. So this is someone who's going to be maybe your cup of tea, or someone who speaks your language, right? Let's get into the cards that represent the way you are presenting yourself to others at this time. So we have the Ten of Swords and then Judgment. So the way that you're presenting yourself to others at this time is that you're over something, you get it, it's not going to bother you anymore. You've decided, you've made a choice here, you've had a second look at something. You're not going to let something bother you. You've worked through it, you've thought your way through it. You could have seen things in a different way and still brushed it off. You could have been given another opportunity to come to your rescue, and that's what occurred here. So tens, when we're looking at, the Wheel of Fortune twice, we have another 10 here. We have two tens, plus the major arcana tens. So a sense of completion, right? Coming round the other side. But I feel like you think you might have been getting away with something, or someone in your vicinity might have been getting away with something because they weren't asking too many questions. I think this could be concealment as well. You feel like you've done all the concealing, you're ready to level up, you're ready for that victory. You're definitely giving yourself another chance here, or someone in your vicinity is giving you another chance. But the way other people are seeing you, Leo, in the month of March is the Queen of Swords, qualified by the Wheel of Fortune. So here's our second Wheel of Fortune over, you know, the Libra ruled Queen of Swords. So you could be dealing with an air sign as well. We do have two really strong court cards here in air element. Of course, that's swords. So we have the Queen and the King. This is Libra and Aquarius energy. These incredibly intelligent, intellectually focused signs. So I would even say it like in complete opposition to the swarm and sort of cozy, very tactile, you know, home-based enrichment type thing, you know, assets and savings and so forth. These personalities or individuals, for example, would be less inclined toward that. Not that they don't like luxury, but their sense of luxury is less around, say, health or wellness or nutrition or service orientated and, you know, of the body and of the five senses. And this is more of the mind. This is someone who is far more interested in telling the truth. This is, well, she's considered the divorce queen, and she's considered to be cold energy because she tells the truth at all costs. And some people don't like that. And this could be what's sort of making things a little bit flippy-floppy here for you. Or unsettling, or feels a little bit entrapment. But it's curious that the sense of entrapment is with the truth or evidence. So, you know, why would a truth or something evidential feel like a trap? Very curious, right? And again, Leo, if this isn't you, this is something in your environment this month. This is something you have to contend with. We are looking at the last week of the month now, so we're out of, you know, Mercury retrograde. This is something that you could have even, you know, avoided all Mercury retrograde, and it's just like, especially with Wheel of Fortune showing up twice, a couple of tens, you know, source or universe is really kind of reminding you, especially with judgment here, we can't avoid this. We have to walk through this fire. We can't go over it. So this person or energy could be very, because it is how others are seeing you, this is now a personality type, or the way that others are seeing how you're interacting with them. You know, this is balance. We're trying to keep balance here. There's a great deal of wisdom. You're trying to turn the other leaf, or turn a new leaf. You're trying to level up. But again, this is cold. On the other hand, it could be an imbalance, right? We have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a very natural event, and then which goes clockwise, and then the Queen of Swords, which is technically the balance, the sword of truth. It's a very independent energy. You know, she might be, or this energy could be trying to quash this somehow, right? Or feel inundated with this sense of, I have to tell the truth, I have to balance something out. There's definitely a call here to be honest or factual about something that could feel karmic, that could feel like it's sort of following you around and you'd rather it not. I just want to look very quickly at our two tens, just in case they don't mean anything super special. I did just want to look that up because we are dealing with a couple of endings and beginnings here, but let's move into your hopes and fears position. Hopes and fears, 5 of Cups, qualified by the Sun. So, you know, this is a loss or disappointment that's got the sun shining on it. So it can be one of two things in my view. It can be that this is like an over-focus. Your fear is that there's an over-focus here on a loss or a disappointment or something that is not very fulfilling. We do... No one likes the 5s as chaos or discord, but we do need the 5s to get us out of our own way. So there could just be a sunny situation around this. This could dry up, you know, the sun shining. It could have to do with a child as well. But you could successfully be able to squash those feelings of disappointment or loss here as well. On the other hand, the disappointment or loss could overshadow, not likely, but it could overshadow a sense of success or joy or completion here as well. It's very life-affirming. So why would something that's incredibly life-affirming be a little bit of a downer or a disappointment? Your outcome card, King of Swords with the Devil qualifying it. So here's where we're looking at that eccentric energy with the Aquarius ruled King, right? This is groups and associations, but this is also King of the Castle, guys. This is the judge. This is the final judge. This is the person who lays the hammer. This is the individual or energy that tells the truth at all costs. Like I said, this energy nurtures the truth. This energy applies the truth. And it is crossed with the Devil, as you can see. So this is a little bit of a burden. Your truth, you may have to answer what your truth means as opposed to the truth. Could be an element of that. There could be an element of entrapment or obsession with stating facts and evidence. Just looking over them as I shuffle here to get some more messages for you if possible. You know, technically the Capricorn sits on top of the Aquarius, you know, if we're looking at the very last cards of the reading. Those are two of the, you know, once we get past, or I would say past Virgo, frankly, once we get into Libra. Oh wow, I didn't pull a card. You know, we're dealing with some deeper, darker energies once we get past Leo, right? So once we get into Aquarius and Capricorn and Aquarius energy, we're getting into the energy that calls for a lot of integration. We want to integrate the light with the dark. They're incidentally both ruled by Saturn. Aquarius does have the added planet of Uranus, which basically just means that things can happen very, very suddenly. And it could affect your groups and community associations. Community associations, feeling bound, feeling obsessed, feeling or thinking this way. Or something that you're already tied to. This could be a relationship, right? Something you're already tied to. You sort of like, this is how it is, and I'm not even going to look at it a different way. There's really no room for movement here. This is a very binding, I would say a contractual binding that may or may not be suitable for you. That's for you to decide here about how happy you are and how fulfilled you are. But I will suggest here that someone within your environment may not buy it. I'm not saying it's necessarily your partner, and I'm not saying it's you doing it. Someone around you, either you're not buying what someone else is bringing in if it doesn't feel real, especially if there's a little bit of mystery, shadow, or secret to it. All right, so your oracle cards, folks, we do have worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. And I want to pair this kind of with our Archangel Michael card. You know, Archangel Michael does show up when we need a lot of help right now. So if you are struggling, I would definitely reach out to Archangel Michael because something is an issue of time. We know that Saturn ruled Capricorn, rulership of the devil here. You know, its mainstay is Chronos, it's father time. So do consider that. Try to take some time with something. Try not to rush or force something here. Excuse me. Or count your eggs before they're hatched. Definitely don't do that. Just wait and see. And then Archangel Michael will reach out for help at this time if you need it. We have both scrutiny and reputation. This is so curious to me, guys, because I really do feel in many ways, whether this is your home, career, or love life, that your reputation is being scrutinized at this time. And it could be that someone around you or you yourself is trying to manipulate something, trying to make something it isn't, and you have yourself convinced. You definitely have yourself and at least one other person convinced, but there's something missing. Something needs to come in, something needs to turn over, something needs to be communicated outside a major or enforced relationship. One or both of you may not be seeing the full picture because you sort of are just constantly sort of like approving each other, validating each other all the time without looking too deeply in it. And it feels good and it looks good, but it may not be real and it may not be based in reality or evidence. So scrutiny and reputation. Definitely someone's reputation is being scrutinized at this time. And then breathe. This goes hand in hand as well with the Archangel Michael. You really are going to have to take a step back here, guys. I'm going to associate this with the Virgo card. This is, sorry, the Hermit card ruled by Virgo. You know, definitely take a step back. Don't be afraid to go within. We do have that sort of in opposition to the High Priestess. I think that secrets may come to the fore. We do have the Sun over here with regard to sort of half of what was keeping you happy. Something may be brought to light here that you don't want to hear or see, or someone around you is experiencing that. But breathe, try to take it easy, go within. Meditation could be very, very helpful for you at this time. If you have to, talk to a spiritual advisor who is willing to listen to your point of view from an objective standpoint as well. You could be too close to something to see something really, really clearly here, Leo. So all the best to you. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Let me know what you think of the reading, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take excellent care. Bye for now.